Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty cool, the Muay Thaibata workout. We've got the details here, and it looks like this really clever mix of Muay Thai moves and that high-intensity Tabata style.
Yeah, it's like getting your striking practice and a major cardio hit all at once.
Exactly.
And what's interesting, it's not just throwing them together randomly. There's a real system here, but lots of variety, too. The document outlines, 5 different workout types, each with its own focus.
Right, 5. You've got the Muay Thaibata bag, a Thai pad workout, partner round, something they call clinch league. Sounds intense. And then Muay Thaibata Pro. So quite a bit to dig into. Where should we start?
Okay, let's kick off with the Muay Thaibata bag workout. The structure's interesting. Starts with 3 warm-up rounds, get everything moving. Then it jumps into 4 sets of 8 Tabata intervals.
Okay, and Thaibata, that's the 30 seconds work, 10 seconds rest, right? Super short rest.
That's the one. Really gets the heart rate up. But what's different here is the partner thing they do during those intervals. It's not just you on the bag. One person works the heavy bag for the 30 seconds,
Right.
while the other person is doing some kind of calisthenic, like push-ups or something.
Ah, right. And then they swap in the 10-second rest.
Exactly. Quick switch. So there's almost no real downtime.
Interesting. So you're pairing, like, bag work with maybe burpees or squats. What's the idea behind that combo?
Well, think about it. You're hitting different energy systems almost at the same time. Bag work is explosive power, technique focus. Calisthenics is more muscular endurance, keeps the cardio going.
And the fast swap means nobody really recovers fully.
Right. Keeps the intensity high, builds that specific kind of fatigue you get in a fight. It's not just general tiredness.
Makes sense. And the warm-ups listed, bag round, jump rope, shadow boxing, those are pretty standard Muay Thai prep drills.
Yeah, classic stuff. Get the patterns down, get warm.
Okay, now the doc mentions each of those 4 Tabata sets in the bag workout focuses on a specific technique and attribute. It doesn't spell them out, which is a bit of a tease.
Yeah, shame.
But you can imagine, right? Like maybe one set is all about speed with jabs and crosses. Another might be power knees, focusing on the explosive part.
Exactly. And doing that intense 30 seconds on just one thing, it really drills that specific movement, that specific quality.
Under fatigue, too.
Yes, under fatigue. It's not just getting tired. It's performing that technique well while tired. It's like accelerated learning for your muscles.
Okay. And then they finished this bag workout with a combat game. Any thoughts on what that might be?
Could be anything, really. Maybe some light rule-based sparring using the techniques they just drilled. Or maybe like a reaction drill. Something less structured to apply the skills.
Yeah, could be a good way to bridge drilling and actual sparring. Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears. The Thai pad workout seems like it has its own feel.
It does. The warm-up is more like traditional Muay Thai. 3-minute rounds. Straightforward. But then the Thaibata part, 6 to 8 sets, still 30 seconds on, 10 off that 10-second rest is different. They call it a defense check.
A defense check. So instead of just resting, you're actively doing something defensive.
Seems like it. What do you think about that, making the rest period active defense?
I kind of like that. It means even when you're gasping for air, you're reminded, keep your guard up, check your stance. It's a mental reset.
Yeah, keeps you switched on. And the pad holding style is described as loose. The holder calls out techniques, and they throw in a specific combo based on the week's focus. How's that different from just holding for standard combos?
Well, it makes a striker react, right? It's unpredictable.
Exactly. You're not just hitting patterns you memorized. You have to listen, process, and then execute. It builds reaction time adaptability. Crucial for fighting.
And they switch partners after 3 rounds, so everyone gets both sides hitting and holding.
Right. Now, there's an important point here. Those first 3 rounds, where one person holds pads wearing the belly pad, shin guards, and the other is kicking. The document says that part isn't strictly Thaibata style. They use the 30-10 timing, but the 10 seconds is specifically for that defense check after getting kicked.
Ah, okay. So they're adapting the Tabata timing for a defensive purpose. Smart.
Very smart. Using that interval structure for defense builds, resilience, but also that mental discipline to immediately check yourself under pressure.
So it's drilling defensive awareness, basically.
Precisely. And again, jump rope, shadow boxing warm-ups, and another combat game at the end. That recurring game element is interesting.
Yeah, it really seems to emphasize putting the skills into practice. Okay, moving on. Partner round. This looks like it ramps up the direct interaction quite a bit.
It does. 5 rounds. First 3 are based on the weekly techniques like the pad work. Then rounds 4 and 5 are freestyle.
And the timing is 30 or 40 seconds work,
Mm-hmm.
but the kicker is the partner dynamic.
Right. One person's on offense, the other's defense, and they switch every 30 seconds without rest.
Wow, no rest at all between switches.
None. Just constant back and forth. Sounds exhausting.
Seriously,
Yeah.
what kind of benefit comes from that? That constant unbroken pressure?
Oh, huge benefits, I think. It's got to be incredible for conditioning, both physical and mental. You have zero time to reset. You go from attacking to immediately defending, sharpens reactions, stamina, reading your partner.
Yeah, you really have to anticipate.
Yeah.
And the warm-ups are the same again. Jump rope, shadow box, combat game. Consistent prep.
And again, each Thai-Bata round is tied to a specific technique and attribute from the weekly theme.
This format feels like it really mimicked the flow of a fight, that constant swish between attacking and defending.
Absolutely. It forces you to manage distance, timing, everything under constant pressure. No breaks.
Okay, now for clinch league, this sounds very, very specific. Focused on, well, the clinch.
Definitely. 3 rounds, but they're longer, 9 to 10 minutes each.
Round 1 is described as a weekly changing drill, just focused on clinch control techniques.
So one week might be all about sweeps from the clinch, the next about breaking posture, maybe neck control.
Why dedicate a whole long round just to those specific drills?
Building fundamentals. The clinch is so technical that dedicated time lets you really get the reps in, understand the little details, balance, leverage, control points. It builds that solid base.
Okay, makes sense. Then round 2 moves to sparring, but specifically long-range clinch sparring. They call it long guard range.
Yeah, and the rule is key here. You have to keep at least one hand touching your partner's hand or arm.
To stay in that long range.
Exactly. It forces you to control that distance using knees, teeps, maybe long punches. And if you break that hand contact...
No striking.
Correct. No strikes until you reestablish that long guard position. What do you think that rule achieves?
It forces you to be really intentional about controlling that specific distance, right? And using the right tools for that range. Stops it becoming just a messy brawl.
Precisely. It emphasizes strategy within that range. Then round 3 shifts again. Now it's close-range clinch sparring, starting from a 50-50 hold, like a neutral tie-up.
And here, strikes are allowed from that close range.
Yes. Knees, elbows maybe, short punches, but the same rule applies if you break contact.
If you separate, no striking until you get back into that close clinch.
Exactly. So it's all about mastering control and offense within distinct clinch phases, long range and close range.
That's a really methodical way to break down clinch work. Very specific.
It is. It acknowledges how complex the clinch is and trains it piece by piece. Very thorough.
Okay, last one. Muay Thaibata Pro. This sounds like the big finisher.
Yeah, it has that feel. Also 3 rounds, 9 to 10 minutes each, but this time it's AMRAP style.
As many reps as possible.
Right. And each round mixes 3 things. 1 heavy bag technique or attribute focus.
Okay.
1 kettlebell exercise, and 1 calisthenic exercise.
So it's bringing in strength and conditioning tools beyond just body weight. Kettlebells.
Exactly. What's the goal of mixing bag work, kettlebells, and calisthenics in an AMRAP format like that?
Well, AMRAP pushes your work capacity, right? Max output in a given time.
For sure.
And combining those 3 elements, you're hitting striking power and technique on the bag, strength and power endurance with the kettlebell, and then overall conditioning with the calisthenics. It seems incredibly well-rounded.
Yeah, it really targets comprehensive athletic development. You're building skill, strength, power, and cardio endurance all together, things that are directly useful for fighting.
Even though they don't list the specific exercises, you can see how that blend would build a really robust athlete.
Definitely. Someone skilled, strong, and with the gas tank to back it up.
So looking back at the whole system, this Muay Thaibata workout approach, it feels very complete.
It really does.
It's not just hitting pads fast. It's structured, varied, integrates skills with high-intensity work, uses different equipment and partner dynamics.
Absolutely. The variety is key. Bag work, pads, partner drills, the deep dive into clinching, then the all-around conditioning in the pro version. It covers so many bases. And that thread of defensive awareness woven through several formats, that's really valuable. Often gets missed in pure high-intensity stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so let's leave the listener with something to chew on. Thinking about this whole package, the Muay Thai skills, the Tabata intensity, all these different formats, how do you think using such a varied approach might really change someone's overall fitness and fighting skill compared to, say, just doing traditional Muay Thai rounds or just doing HIIT workouts separately? And maybe thinking broader, What parts of this structure, this mix and match approach, could you maybe adapt for totally different fitness goals outside of combat sports?
That's a really good question to ponder. It definitely makes you think about the power of structured variety, doesn't it? How blending different types of stress, skill, power, endurance might lead to, well, more complete results and maybe stop you hitting those training ruts.
Yeah, that adaptability seems baked right into the system. Interesting stuff.